is Zoila, and I read a series of unfortunate events, The Bad Beginning by Lemony Snicket. It's the first book, if anyone didn't know. This book follows the unfortunate events of the Baudelaire orphans, whose parents perished in a terrible fire that resulted in them being placed by the incapable Mr. Poe into the care of the conniving and heartless Count Olaf, who continuously attempted to steal their fortune. Olaf actually tried to kidnap the infant sister named Sunny, one of the main characters. He kept Sunny in a tiny bird cage, tied up in a rope, and had a piece of, because she liked to bite stuff, he put a piece of duct tape on her mouth, and I have a quote from my first passage is, where is it? Yes, Count Olaf continued, "It certainly is strange to find a child missing, and one so small and helpless. Where's Sunny?" Violet cried. "What have you done with her?" Count Olaf continued to speak as if he had not heard Violet. "But then again, one sees strange things every day. In fact, if you two orphans follow me out into the backyard, I think you will see something rather unusual." The Baudelaire children didn't say anything but followed Count Olaf through the house and out the back door. Violet looked around the small, scraggly yard in which she had not been and since she and Klaus had been forced to chop wood. The pile of logs that they had made was still lying there untouched, as if Count Olaf had merely made them chop logs for his own amusement rather than for any purpose. Violet shivered still in her nightgown, but as she gazed here and there, she saw nothing unusual. "You're looking in the right place." "You're not looking in the right place," Count Olaf said. "For children who read so much, you two are remarkably unintelligent." Violet looked over in the direction of Count Olaf, but could not meet his eyes. His eyes were on his face, that is. She was staring at his feet and could see the tattooed eye that had been watching the Baudelaire orphans since their troubles had begun. Then her eyes traveled up to Count Olaf's lean, shabbily dressed body as she saw that he was pointing up one scrawny hand that followed his gesture and found herself looking in the forbidden tower. It was made of dirty stone with only one lone window, and just barely visible in the window was what looked like a bird cage. "Oh no," Klaus said in a small, scared voice, and Violet looked again. It was a bird cage dangling from the tower window like a flag in the wind. But inside the bird cage, she could see a small and frightened Sunny. Count Olaf unsuccessfully tried to use a play to trick Violet into marrying him, but Violet and Klaus stayed up all night reading the New Bitter Law that he found from Justice Strauss's library, which was their neighbor, and Count Olaf took it and said that if Violet didn't marry him, then he would drop Sunny. But one of Count Olaf's associates, he was playing poker with Sunny up in the tower when they were at the theater, and he said, "If you win this game of poker," because she was in the birdcage, "then I'll get tied in the rope and you could put a piece of duct tape around my face." And so she won the game of poker, so he took her back. He took her back to the theater but then Count Olaf, because they both had walkie-talkies, and Count Olaf had started to say, and he got his walkie-talkie out because for a real marriage, he was trying to really marry her. For a real marriage, you have to sign a paper with your right hand. That means if you're a righty, then you sign it with your right. But if you're a lefty, you sign it with your left. And say "I do" with the judge in the room. So they both said "I do" and signed the paper, but Violet signed it with her not with her right hand, so it wasn't a legal marriage. And another passage I have is is, and now, ladies and gentlemen, Count Olaf said, stepping forward to address the audience, I have an announcement. There is no reason to continue tonight's performance, for its purpose has been served. This has not been a scene of fiction. My marriage to Violet Baudelaire is perfectly legal, and now I am in control of her entire fortune. If he does, you have to read the book to find out if he does get their fortune.